Good morning. Welcome back to Ministry Monday. This is Carlton Kuhn. I hope you've had a great weekend. I began talking last week about leadership as being an essential part of being an effective shepherd. I'm still a little bit out of the norm as far as my recording is concerned, so my apologies if there are any difficulties with that. I think a neglected aspect of this idea of being a leader and gaining influence is found in the word longevity. I've read that a pastor does not begin to be truly effective until he has led a congregation of people for 6 years. Influence does not come suddenly. The ability to trust people who influence us for change is not a quick thing. Trust can't be purchased down at the local 7-Eleven. It's purchased by being worthy of trust. Trustworthy. Are you trustworthy? People don't know that in a week. They don't know that in a month. They seldom know it in a year. I've watched at times when someone follows a veteran pastor into being the leader of a particular congregation. And sometimes that new pastor, the younger individual, anticipates that they have the same weight of influence as the man who preceded him. The young man may ask, why do people not trust me as much? Why are they somewhat skeptical of the things that I propose? And they may even confuse the concept of authority with the concept of leadership. A strong man who controls a third world nation does so with authority. He dominates, but he does not influence. Influence doesn't come quickly. The elder who has left the congregation, he's been there for an extended period of time. The young fella could say, but I have the office of a pastor, and influence comes with the office. And therein is an inherent understanding of leadership. Opportunity comes with office. Influence comes through consistently doing the right things for an extended period of time. And that's where longevity comes in. Now, I don't want to be misunderstood. Longevity is not just living a long time or being in a particular role for a long time. Some people serve for 15 years, but they don't progress for 15 years. Instead, they repeat the same 1 year for 15 years in a cycle. It's as though they're going around a racetrack and the circle is never ending, but there is no destination in mind. The objective is to simply travel. The New Testament word for that found in the book of Acts is an untoward generation, a generation without direction. Israel, 38 years of busy, but no promised land. That's not the longevity that any of us desire. It's not what I'm talking about. Instead, it's the longevity of a sustained vision, the longevity of work that builds line upon line, precept upon precept, beginning where we are, but moving this group of people and moving the individuals within this group of people to become something more for God than what they were when we began this journey. So the things I'd like for you to think about this week, these all having to do with longevity in gaining influence. The first is this: are you dedicated to investing the time necessary to gain influence with the people who God has put in your life? The second that I want you to think about critically is this: are you simply busy circling the track? As a leader, not just what we want to do this year, that's activity, but where do we want to go? That's moving people toward a destination. Are we thinking 5 years ahead? What do we want to build? What do we want to buy? What do we want to develop? What ministries do we want to be accomplishing? People will follow someone who has a vision that they can explain. And then, of course, I think it becomes an essential part of that is how do I develop myself to prepare to influence people to make those changes? And it can't be with a hammer. It can't be by domination, but instead, how do I prepare to take us forward to the next level? And then what will you do? This is important. What will you do to make good of the opportunity that God has granted to you? Are you going to use it as a strong man? Or are you going to be an influential leader? To just rant and rave, that's not influence. And that accomplished very little for the long term, as far as gaining trust. And then the last question, if there are things that you need to know, who are you going to learn from? Until next week, God bless. Have a wonderful week.